Now that we have generated the token successfully, we can proceed with cloning the repository to our computer. We need to go back to the repository page on GitHub to copy the repository link. But there is something important to know. After generating this token, if you leave this page or refresh it, you may not be able to see the token again. That is why I purposely opened another browser tab earlier. I kept the repository page in one tab and generated the token in another tab. Now look here, you can see that HTTPS is selected by default. You can also see this link. This is the repository link. If anyone asks you for the link of your repository, this is the link you send. Click the copy button to copy it. Now, come back to the terminal. Make sure you are inside the directory where you want the repository to be placed. Now, let's start cloning. Type the command git space clone space. Then paste the repository link you copied. One easy way to paste into the terminal is by right-clicking your mouse. You can see that it has pasted successfully. Perfect. Now use the left arrow key on your keyboard to move the cursor between the double slash and the word GitHub. Right here. This is where you will place the personal access token. Now let's go and copy the token. Click the copy icon. The token is now copied. Return to the terminal. Make sure your cursor is still between the double slash and GitHub. Now right click and paste the token. Immediately after pasting the token, make sure the cursor is still before the word GitHub. Then type @ symbol. It should now look like this. If you observe the command carefully, the structure is git space clone space https :/ followed by the personal access token, followed by @github.com, followed by your GitHub username, then the repository name, and finally .git. Now press enter. You should see this message. If you do not get something similar, it means there may be a mistake somewhere. Now the repository has been cloned successfully from GitHub to my laptop. If I run ls, you can see that this directory is no longer empty. We now have the repository here. At a glance, it looks like normal directory. But remember, we did not create it using mkdir. It is created through Git cloning. That means it is a repository. A repository and directory are similar because both can contain files and folders. The difference is that a repository is connected to Git and can also be connected to GitHub, while a normal directory does not have that connection. Now, let's go inside the repository using the cd command. If we run ls, you can see that it is empty. Let's create a file called hello.txt. Let's write something inside it, then save and quit. Now If we check again, you can see that the repository is no longer empty. We now have hello.txt inside. But if we go back to GitHub and refresh the repository page, you can see that it still looks empty. Nothing appears there yet. So what happened? When created a file on the computer, it appears on the computer, but it does not appear on GitHub. The reason is simple. The moment you clone a repository from GitHub to your laptop, you now have two copies of the repository. One copy exists online on GitHub. The second copy exists on your computer. The copy on GitHub is the original online version. The copy on your computer is called the local repository or local copy. Whenever changes happen in one copy, the other copy must be updated. If you create or update anything in the repository on your computer and you want GitHub to receive the changes, you use Git Push. But if you create or update something on GitHub and you want those changes to appear on your computer, you use Git Pull. These two terms confuse many beginners, so pay close attention. If you make changes in your local repository on your computer and send them to GitHub, that process is called pushing. If you make changes on GitHub and bring them down to your local repository on your computer, that process is called pulling. This is the difference. Your computer to GitHub, it is push. But from GitHub to your computer, it is pull. These are very important concepts in Git and GitHub. You will use them almost every day as a programmer.